Hello everyone, welcome back to the garage. Today we got an '04 4-cylinder 5-speed 2-wheel drive Toyota Tacoma. Needs a clutch master, so we're gonna rip out the old one and we're gonna slam in a fresh one, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. So right there next to the brake and brake booster is your clutch master cylinder. And if you're wondering what a clutch master cylinder does, I don't really know why you're watching this video, but when you step on your clutch pedal, it moves a linkage, which we're going to see in a minute because we have to disconnect it from the pedal, but it moves a linkage which forces fluid through the line there from this master through this master cylinder, and it goes down to your slave cylinder on the side of your transmission. On some trucks it's inside your transmission, and if you have that you're kind of screwed, but that moves your clutch fork, and that is what physically moves the clutch in and out, so you can change gears, put it in neutral, whatever. So we're gonna take this out, we're gonna put the new one in. Alright, fresh out of the box. Here's the new one. Looks exactly the same as the old one. I got, as you can see, the ASIN, the legit OEM Toyota version. You know, you can get like a generic AutoZone or Advanced Auto Parts or whatever version of this part, but I looked into that and all the reviews were like, they should discontinue selling this, it's dangerous, I almost crashed, it failed on me after 4 minutes. So, you know, this part isn't that much more expensive than like the bootleg one, so just get this one so you don't have to write an angry review on the AutoZone website. I wouldn't want you to have to do that. So what you want to do first is, you take the cap off, the weird little floaty thing that floats in there. You're going to want to drain the cylinder, the master, because it's .3 in there. It's basically brake fluid, and it's gross, it's hard on your paint, and you don't want it sloshing around when you're wrestling this thing out. So I got my pump here, and I'm going to pump it out, and it's going to go into this Chevy hubcap as my little drain pan, because that's what I think of Chevy. You want to pump out as much as you can just to make this job as neat and tidy as possible. Yeah, fuck you, Chevy. So here we are under the dash. Here's your clutch pedal. You follow that up until you can see there's the linkage coming out the back of our clutch master cylinder and some dust bunnies on my clutch pedal, but you can see a little cotter pin and a little spring, and we're going to take those off, slide that little brass pin out, and that's the first step. So that's what you want to do first. So grab some pliers and start by taking those out. Fucking hell. So next, get a towel to protect your car again and jam that under the master, and then you take your 10 mil wrench, and it's better if you have a flare wrench, but it should be okay with just a regular one. And you're gonna wanna take off the line that goes to the slave cylinder. So let's get down there. There you go. There's got the line off, and just wiggle it out and let it drip onto your rag. So now you want to take a 12 mil, probably on a little extension. You're going to want to take those 2 bolts that hold the clutch master to the firewall. There's one. And you just do the other. And obviously you want to save these so you can use them on your new master. But just take those off. And now with the bolts removed and the line taken off and the linkage disconnected, you should be able to just wiggle your master right off the firewall like so. And here's our old one, and it's out. Pretty simple. So here's the head-to-head. We got the new ASIN on top, and we got the old one. And obviously when you're ordering parts, especially if you're ordering them online, it's important to, at least visually check that they look roughly the same as the ones that you're going to be taking off the truck versus putting on your truck. Make sure you're getting the right stuff. But another thing to pay attention to is, at the end of this linkage, here we're looking at the old one, at the end of this linkage there's like an adjusting collar and a nut here, and this is what sets the amount of play in your clutch pedal. And if you have too much play, obviously it's not good, it's shitty to drive, it's hard to tell where the clutch is grabbing and whatever. And if you have zero play, that's also bad because clutch fluid expands. And if it's a really hot day and you're driving your truck and it's in the sun and whatever, and the clutch fluid starts to expand and there's no play in the pedal, there's nowhere for that expansion to go, something's going to break. You might pop a line or a hose or something. That wouldn't be good either. So when you're putting the new part in, you want to roughly look at the old part and make sure that the length on the linkage is about the same. And as you can see, this one is a little shorter than this one. This one's got a couple threads showing, so you just take a 12 mil and this is already loose because it's out of the truck, and you can just turn this end, and as you can see, that's bringing it out, and it's gonna set the right amount of travel on your linkage. So be sure to do that. And you can fine tune it when you put it in the truck, but it's easier to just kind of rough it in right here on the bench before you're crawling around under the dashboard again. So here I got them adjusted roughly the same amount. You want about a 1/2 inch, give or take a 1/8 of an inch of play in your clutch pedal, so this should be close enough. So you just take your new master and it slides right on to where we took the old one off. Very easy. There you go. When you're putting this line back on, just one thing to pay attention to is, it's bent in a certain way, and you want to be very careful about, putting it in, because you don't want to cross thread it, because like I said, it's, it's bent and it's going to want to go in the way it's been before. So, if you cross thread this, you're going to have to get a new line and get a new master, which is not what you want. So just be very careful about when you're putting it in. And I like to put it in with the bolts on the firewall but not tightened, so it's in the general area and you get a little wiggle room, and then you can tighten everything down after really tight. But you want a little wiggle room right now to make sure you're not cross-threading anything or putting anything in the wrong way. Another extremely important step is to drop your flashlight and have it stuck in your engine compartment. So now you take these and you just hop back under the dash and reconnect the linkage coming out the back of your clutch master to your pedal. So then you take your new clutch fluid, just make sure it's the right dot type, and you fill up the master. You can overfill it a little bit because you have to bleed it in a second.
Your part during this time, you give it back.
So when you filled up the master, you crawl under the car and you open up the slave cylinder and begin the process of bleeding it. So you just open the bleeder first and wait until you get drips coming out from up top. It's very important to make sure you use the approved Chevy hubcap drain pan. There you go. Nice stiff clutch. Good job.